Well, hello there, everyone. A little disclaimer before I start this. I'm gonna touch on rather dark topics, so beware if it's, well, it's definitely not suitable for kids, but yeah, it's like something I actually wanted to do for a long time, or after. Yeah, it's been on and off on my plate for some time, and after a good talk with my mum yesterday, and yeah, helping others and something and all of that jazz, I thought it was I thought, well, you people should know my story. Some of it, anyway, most of it I remember. There's been so many things happening, but the main story and why I am as I am at times, and as you can already hear, to be honest, I'm petrified. To be honest, I just sat and wrote down everything. So if you have a lot of the stuff I want to talk about, so if you see me like I do look down, because I have to look down at papers, and yeah, I could have done this the good old modern way with some writing it down on the computer, but you know what? No, I don't want to do that. So yeah, I might also as well do some cuts if it gets too much and I start crying a bit, or just getting to a point where I just have to gather myself up and start again. So it might be something I do over a day. I don't know. Maybe gonna do the rest tomorrow. I don't know yet, but I hope I can finish it all off in one sitting. But I think like PRO people, to the ones who follow me and whatnot, that they can get a bit more of a grasp on at times of why I am how I like I am in certain points and aspects. So yeah, and a lot of and some people know that I'm a bit flaky at times, and yeah. So, but without further ado, as last time for the disclaimer, this is gonna touch some very dark subjects, and I'm gonna segment the video up if you want to like jump ahead into the end of it or something. I don't know yet, but I'll try to segment it up in a way so that it yeah, that it can be easily accessed if you people just want the middle of the story, the end, or the beginning, or from the beginning. It's all up to you. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin. So yeah, I was born in '81, and my story starts with, well, my mom lived with my dad. I got to know my dad at around 79 or something, and I was born in '81. And in the meantime, my dad, well, it lies in my dad's family. He was a full-blown alcoholic at that time, like really drinking, and continued to do that for about, yeah, from around when I was 4. Well, I remember my mom split from him when I was 4 years old, and we moved, and I didn't see my dad for about 10 years, more or less. So but alas, well, we moved out. We split because, well, my mom couldn't handle it anymore, and the whole, yeah. Let's just say that it was. I think it was the best thing at the time. So, but yeah, and yeah, we moved. Initially, we moved in with my grandma, who lived like yeah, not even 5 minutes down the road, for temporary reasons. And let's just say my step grandpa was a true psychopath. I'll say, and I know it's a bit hard of a term to use, but let's just say that man was crazy. Like he was a diabetic. He had some psychotic, and now that I look in hindsight, he had some kind of I would say he had maybe some schizophrenia or something. I'm not a layman's person, but he had some stuff to deal with on top of his alcohol abuse, and on the top of that, the man was diabetic. So yeah, and yeah, let's just say I saw things a kid aged 5, 6, 7 shouldn't see, or 5 or 6. So yeah, I won't delve into deeper detail, but let's just say there were some smashed windows involved, and well, step grandpa who was completely cray and went amok. So not a good time. So yeah, well, then my mom and me moved around, and I had multiple stepdads. Some did well, some didn't go as well. And to be honest, I'm sorry, before I continue, this is not like, oh, this is my sub story. No, but I feel I owe it to you people. Like, maybe if, I don't know, maybe when I reach the conclusion to this, or what I've written up in the end here, why and how, I might say that something I would say that I could suffer from in one way, shape, or form that has done some stuff, and the whole thing here has done me stuff, has done me in some ways that I react in certain ways, maybe, or mostly. So yeah, but anyways, so yeah, we moved a bit around with different stepdads and alone and whatnot, and when I was around 6, 7 years, 8 years old, or yeah, around 7, 8, we met. Oh, my mom met the recent stepdad, which gave me my half sister. Well, there's 11 years between me and my sister, so yeah. Well, let's just say he wasn't ideal first in the first many years. He was okay in the first few years. He was a bit weird, not badly weird, but just he had some things while he was living as a bachelor, and well, he liked his car a lot. So I was, as a kid, I had to be completely clean with my shoes every time I stepped into his car. But that's a story for another day. But let's just say, well, he was a bit, well, I say his my step grandfather from with him was actually kind of kind person, and actually it was a bit of a light in the whole and everything that happened, because yeah, when my sister got around, yeah, family, the whole thing got a bit frayed, because my sister was first of all, she had colic for like, that's like screaming for 3 to 6 months every night. So that frayed them all out, and I don't know, my stepdad was at that time really bad at controlling feelings and whatnot, and he would rather let his fist talk than other things. So I caught some glimpses of that, as well as my sister. And that went on for, yeah, I don't know, that went on for quite some time, which I will come into later on how it ended. But yeah, that went a bit, it went up and down. It was stable. It was stable in at least in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, and then within that time frame, I switched school in 4th grade. I switched schools a few times because we moved around. So, and when I switched my school, I went into like a full civil war of 2 schools getting put together. So one school was closed, and every student was moved to the other school, and you know what that happens, it's us versus them, and if you're in the middle, yeah, you're an easy target, right? So that went on for a year. ish, maybe, yeah, about a year or something when and it actually culminated in fourth grade. I think it was about a year it went on, and then it went to a combination. Even though I had some kind of protection from the people that went in the higher in the higher classes, or almost at the ninth grade or something. Some of them are actually a bit protective, and the younger ones were as well. And that's also another story for another time. But let's just say that things went really, really bad at one point, where I didn't see any way all the way out. Then, why not just jump out of, just end it all, go jump out of a window. Yeah, you know the rest. You can imagine the rest, right? So it went really south. It had to be like, well, 4 or 5 people who had to like get me out of there, because I was so adamant of just poof, jumping. I had enough. The bullying, getting water thrown at you day after day and whatnot was enough. So yeah, school wasn't a joy at the beginning for me, to be honest, in that new school. And yeah, it was just like, yeah, couldn't cope with it. So, luckily, luckily I got one good friend out of it. Not from the attempt, but one who actually got to learn better after the whole thing went like it went. And luckily, people, after I did that, people kind of, yeah, I didn't say I was adopted into the class with open arms, but I was at least tolerated, so that was a bonus for me. Yeah. Then, well, let's just say the rest of my school time was actually quite bearable, and I got a good friend from it, which I still see the day to day, who lives in the same town as me, so that's good. And yeah, the rest of the school time, well, that went, as I said, it went okay, and well, my stepdad and mom was still like arguing, and my sister and me were kind of suffering under it as well. So, but it was a different time back then in the 90s. Times were a bit different on certain stuffs and whatnot, and actually the whole bullying thing ended with me going to a psychologist for about 2 years, I think. So a year to 2 years, yeah. And well, that helped immensely on me as well, and I've actually felt better and better. I could, well, some of the teasing they gave me, I could manage and whatnot. I was, mind you, we were in school and we were adolescent and teens, and well, we had some of us had a temper, and I had a temper as well. So, but alas, that was how far I got out. So, but I went out of public school in ninth grade with pretty damn awesome grades, to be honest. So after public school, well, it was time to find another place to be. And in the meantime, I was doing a summer job as a berry picker. I actually met who was one of my other best friends. I don't have that much contact with him anymore, but he was actually a great help when I started my first education, like proper college education, as in trade and in trade and yeah, like as a businessman, like I was actually as an intern. I was selling like everything from pipework to toilets to bathroom fittings to whatever. And when I started in school. Well, let's just say the first half of the year of that school time, that was pure hell again. This time the bullies were mostly of a female variety, which, let's just say, females can be sophisticated and so mean. Like, us males can be mean as well, but, well, let's just say things run good. And I was happy I had my best friend, then best friend, met him around, because he was actually the one, and a few of us other outcasts, as we would call us, because we were like a bit on our own, because we felt a bit left out, and not left out as left out, but we felt a bit like we were the popular ones. We weren't running around with the right clothes, and we weren't the cool kids and whatnot. So yeah, it's what it is. And I was around age 16, 15, 16 at that time, and yeah, after that half year, they actually, well, more or less, they got silenced because they did some stuff. So, but yeah, that really also almost drowned me down. But thanks to my friend and some other people, we survived. We endured. So kudos to that, right? And yeah, ended out at the as a educated businessman, with a salesman with specialty, with special knowledge within plumbing fittings and yeah, all the bathroom stuff and whatnot. So I still can remember some of it, so I can still pull apart my own toilet and whatnot. But yeah, that's also a story for another time, and I know I'm saying that a lot of times, but it's because I might do a bit of a more happy story, to be honest. So time went on, and after I was done with trade school, around that time when I was done with and went into my internship, let's just say that as I went, I think it was about around the end of my internship, and I just got my car and learned how to drive and all that jazz. My mom and stepdad had a really bad fallout, and my sister was, at that time, she was old enough to get it, and well, my mom wouldn't have any more of it, to be honest, and she moved out with me, my sister. And yeah, that wasn't a good time as well. And well, he was the type, when something didn't, at that time, when something didn't go right, it was the knuckles who spoke on him, and it was mainly my mom. And to be honest, my sister went between him and my mom so many times, and I did that as well, but as I got older, but still, it was like, I don't know, I mostly just tried to escape from that place, because I didn't feel comfortable there. So yeah, another glorious time, right? So, well, when he did that, we all decided, okay, enough is enough. I, at that time, moved, well, packed my computer up and whatnot, and went out to my dad. And let's just say I had many beers when I lived there for that week or so, and I was so happy. I think it was in the summer vacation as well, so that was good. I think it was about a month or something. Um, but let's just say, at one point when I was trying to move stuff, and I was stressed out, and my mom was stressed out, and we were all just a bit. The whole thing was just like crazy. I punctured my car and really did some bad stuff. Did some damage to one of my tires, and well, I managed to put it on the spare tire myself and whatnot. I had to go out and get the tire fixed. And I know now I'm drifting off into another story time I could do. But yeah, let's just say that I ended up back in my stepdad's place. And let me just say it like this: for once, my stepdad was actually really, he was really like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done this. It was, he actually was pretty damn hard hit by it. And well, I came out to him and I said, so and such and such, and I needed to borrow his workshop, and he said, well, you can borrow it. It's okay with me. And I said to him, while we were talking and stuff, I said, okay, you know what? I'm 18 now. I'm old enough. So let's make some kind of, it's a bit sketchy though, a bit, no, sketchy, not sketchy, sketchy, but the memory of me is a bit, it's a bit, it's a bit hazy, but I went from like, you know what, let's make a gentleman agreement. If you ever touch my mother again, if you choose to move in together again, which I do hope because of my sister's sake, you don't touch her. You can argue all you want. Don't touch her again, or else I'm gonna come here and I'm really gonna flatten you, and it's not gonna be fun. And we both agreed on, well, that's more or less the gentleman agreement we did. So yeah, let's just say finally things went better, and my mom and my stepdad and they went into therapy. Me and my sister, we got some good and stable times finally, and I'll say my mom and stepdad they're together on this day to this day, and they're actually doing quite well despite some other stuff with their health and whatnot. But that's again, it's again a thing for another time. But yeah, well, ended my internship with really good grades and the finals, rate exams and whatnot in 2001 ish. Yeah, about 2001. And in the meantime, I was drafted to the military. Well, first of all, I was drafted with a high number here in Denmark. Here in Denmark, military is mandatory. If you draw a number, if your number is on the higher side or on it, you are not going to get drafted in unless they need people. And they said, well, you picked such a high number that no, you're not going to go in. But then all of a sudden, about a month later, I was saying, oh, you're going to get drafted anyways because we don't have enough people. Right. And I got sent from down here where I live to around the other end of the country. And let's just say that time wasn't good. It wasn't. That was actually the first big failure I felt in my life. Which it wasn't a glorious time, to be honest. But yeah, it was like, you come in here in Denmark, you come into the military, and it's like your ID card, your driver's license, and if you have a passport with you, all of that is going to be replaced by a military identification card for the whole duration when you're in. And let's just say I was actually also having some issues with a toe that went infected at that time. And let's just say that also hampered me while running around military boots and whatnot. And that was 2 weeks of where it just went downhill fast, and I was the last running, and whew, I fought really hard, but I just couldn't cut it. Just couldn't. And it was just like every time, well, when I left when I left the weekend, I remember the last weekend I left back to the place, I was crying, I was pleading, I didn't want to go. My dad actually gave me a travel military CD, which I have today, to be honest, and I'm sorry, it hurts me talking about it because I hate being a failure. So let's just say I broke down at that point. I really broke down. And it went so bad that I went into, when I got on the train and I finally when I got around, we changed the train station a few times. Military card means also that you got free transportation, which is also good. But one of my female sergeants saw me and I was just like gray as can be in my face, and I just looked like a broken man. I didn't eat right for the 2 weeks, and it all just went south. And let's just say I had to go into a psych. Well, it is not. I had to be evaluated because I couldn't cut the military and such. But I was happy that at least the people I was sharing my bunk with, they had some kind of a decency to call the quartermaster that night, because yeah, let's just say it wasn't a joyous time for me as well. So, but alas, I went from there and went to Copenhagen and was there on some kind of a military base thing, where I went to a open psych ward-ish, where they evaluated a lot of us who broke down in the military. So, and it was just like, I felt like a complete and utter failure. Like, I got home, or when I packed up, and I got told that, well, when they found out that I was deemed forever not suited for military, I had to pack up my stuff. And I remember when I was walking out with my 2 plastic bags, and actually there was one female sergeant who actually saw me there the day that I came in, and I was just like crap, totally croaked. She said, well, you're done now? Yeah, I'm done. I said, there's no more. And she said, well, I can at least give you that comfort, and you fought, at least you tried, even though you had so many issues with your infection, with your infected toe and your knee, and what else happened at that time. So, and she said, well, have a good life, and remember, you're not a failure. But I felt like one. I felt like utter failure. So alas, I got home, and yeah, went from there. Or yeah, there's actually a little. Sorry, before I come ahead, and I know I'm getting airheaded from all of this, because it's really like, it is hard topics for me to talk about, because for once I'm not writing it down, I'm saying it as it is, and it's hard. It is really like, some things I might miss, and I don't know, but let's just say when I got my discharge papers, my general classification for being kicked out was a short-term depression. And when I read the when I read the papers, and I can read them, and just think, you know what, that military sergeant who sat at his desk and wrote out how I was as a person was just like intended with my psychologist who got all of my stories. Let's just say he was another douchebag. He was just like, oh, that guy, he was just like demoralizing the whole team because of with his stuff and whatnot. You know what, buddy? Screw off. Screw off. So yeah, that was a little curly end to that one. But yeah, let's just say that it didn't. I felt like a failure after that, but I also learned something. My mind is not suited for, like, you're not normally, and that's also another thing in the military. Normally here you're not called by your name. You're not called private surname, like, or what is it called? Yeah, you know, the name after your first name. Yeah, that's the surname, I think. You're not called that. You are not called that. You're actually called by your town. So you were just reduced from a person to a town to a number, nothing more. And I think that was also a thing that I couldn't stand it. My brain just shut down about it. And even also with the whole thing that I didn't want to be there, because I thought I was not drafted in. I was not drafted in from the beginning. So why the hell was I? Why the hell was I even drafted in? So, and why was I drafted into the thing I least wanted? So that was a lot of bitterness from that. But yeah, I went from that, and I went to work many different jobs, and got some good years, and got some silence, and got some quiet, and actually, well, had a pretty okay stable stuff. Maybe, well, let's just say I've fought some stuff, and There are some things I haven't told my family on stuff I did. Like, I didn't do anything illegal or really bad, but let's just say I wasn't the most mental stable person, and I hid some of it at times with this one. Now I know people will say, why still having you some beers? And I'll say it like this, and why do you still do it? It's because you're an alcoholic. Well, I'm not. I know my dad was an alcoholic. I know his dad was also like happy for the beers, and I have a really very lax relationship with that, which I'll come to in a bit. But yeah, let's just say that there were some things happening. But yeah, things went well, and around 2005, 6-ish. Well, I moved out from my parents' place at around 2004 and got my own place in around 6. I moved in with my best friend from public school, he was living abroad for a few years, and then he came back before his family, and we had a house, they bought a house for him, and I moved in with him, so that we were 2 people, and let's just say two people living together like that. That's not gonna, 2 friends like that, and with an ex-girlfriend of his at one point where she just went like completely cuckoo for Cocoa Pops and tried to drive a wedge between us, which happened pretty good because I was a gullible fool. I thought I could get something, so yeah, you know the drill, right? So yeah, I moved out and I moved into my own place, and then I started my second trade school thing, and I started an actual trade school as a industrial operator, like building windmills, all that glass fiber work and resin work and whatnot. I got into that, and that actually gave me pretty damn good 1 year about 1 year in school, and about 1 year in school with some internships, internship terms at the place, and then year of work as well, more or less. So I was like, I got laid off in 2008. So I started around 2005-ish with the school and whatnot. That was actually, I felt like there I belonged. I wasn't like, I struggled with math, and I could feel like earlier in my early life, my younger me, I was pretty damn good at math, and I could go to exams just like stone-faced and whatnot. And all of a sudden it just began to like, nerves began to come out and whatnot. So yeah. But alas, I got through that, and in 2008 I got fired, and I had some, we had some benefits paying here, like something, it is like something called, in Danish it's called dagpenge. It's like a bit more than social, it's quite a lot more than social welfare, the minimum we get here, but yeah, it was about enough so I could live, and I tried to find some work besides that, and then I went on public welfare at the end, and was there for about a year, 2, 3 years ish, about a year, maybe 2 years. And then I went to like, and I felt a bit, I wouldn't say I felt like a failure, but I would just feel like I got, as the older I got, the more alone I lived with myself, I developed a tendency to overthink, and some of my joy for those came back. So yeah, but alas, I endured, and then so all of a sudden I got my 3rd trade school, actually thanks to my worker at the job center, who actually got me into some kind of a benefits program where I could go there at age 30, what was I? At around age 34, 35, so yeah. But I went in as an electrician, and there came the second big fail with my education, and when I really started to think, am I even good enough? I've always thought that, but I'll come to that later. But am I really just getting dumber and slower, or what the hell's happening with me? And yeah, I was struggling with math, and in hindsight, I might have bitten more than I could chew. So yeah, that went well. I got through the ground course like with flying colors, but then we went to the first main, the main course, and I just failed miserably. I think I scored a double E, which is like fail grade here. So I think E and F is fail grade. If I try to, if I put in, and let's just say I also had my ground course extended for a month because of health reasons. I won't dig into that because that wasn't a time I look back to well as well, because I was flaky as a mofo, and let's just say things weren't good, and it ended really, it could really have ended better than it did. So I'm happy that I'm doing as I'm doing right now. But alas, I had to swallow that pill and say, okay, we need to get to something else. And then I took my service assistant, started my service assistant, and at the same time I started at a psychologist again. We had I had many sessions where we talked, and to be honest, I don't know why, but I feel it easier to talk to females about my issues than males at times. I don't know why. Mind you, I talk with my friends if I'm feeling bad, so that's not like I'm not specifically just talking to females in that regard, but I don't know. But let's just say now I'm doing this, and I've been somewhat stable, and I also say getting this flat here has helped me immensely, but still I know I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well, but I'm not like, I know there's something that's not completely right up there. There's some issues I deal with, and let's just say, well, some of it, I hope it won't like get into my final exams. I'm tending to do them in about, I'm starting the final school course in about a month, so, and now under a month actually. And then I got around to the 28th of January, we'll have my final exam. So I hope it goes well. But yeah, I'll just say, I don't know. I don't know if, I don't know. I'm not expert in psychology or whatnot, but as far as I can see, some of what I'm suffering from might be some, with the whole thing that happened in the past, might be some kind of, it looks a bit like something like PTSD in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not a certified psychologist here, but I'll also say another thing that really can mess you up. It's just like, for me personally, when I'm alone and when I sit alone at times, and actually this whole thing, me talking to you about how I am, is actually spurred from a good old long convo I had with my mom yesterday, because yeah, we talked a lot about stuff, and my mom actually she's mentioned it quite some times, and she felt bad that I had to witness all of that she talked me through. But I said to her, well, you don't have to feel bad. I don't hate you for that. It's just how life goes. But it leaves some goddamn scars, man. It really does. And I don't know. Going back to with the whole thing here, I think the main thing for me at times, it's just like I overthink because I'm sitting here alone at times, and that's why I'm so much into Discord, and I sit and I stream and talk, and I keep my brain busy. But if I just sit or just walk around, I have to do something. I have to stay busy, or else I feel like I have some kind of brats of gremlins or leprechauns inside in my wirings, and they're just like, let's jump, let's yank at this, let's turn this on, let's turn this off, let's just try and see if we can make you go completely cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. And I'll say, well, I overthink if I sit too much alone as well, I can just say it can be really. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's so sad for me, but at times it's, I don't know. I just get the feeling like the old thinking is telling me this, and it's telling me, well, why, why, why? Well, do you think you're good enough to everyone, to anyone or anybody? Do you think you're good enough? Do you think you're this? Do you think you're that? And it's just like I have really, at times I really have to. I really have to like just like grab hold of myself and just stop. Just really just like stop the overthinking train. Really just put my heels down and say stop this right now. Because if I don't do it, I know I'm gonna do some heinous. I'm gonna do some bad shit at some point, and I won't think that thought to the end because I don't want to be like. I don't want to be like. Again, I said. I'm not doing this as a, ooh, it's so sad for me story. I'm just doing this so you know why I'm doing as I'm doing at times. Why I'm reacting as I am. Because I don't know. I don't know. At times it's just like I just really hope I belong anywhere, and I know I do. It's not. Don't get me wrong here, but the overthinking, man, it's really a demon that really can. It's really one that can mess me up, and I'm happy that I got the psychology tools I have, and I'm trying to do what I am with sitting and trying to meditate to some music or something, or just like noise it out with my noise music. I don't know. I have to like, at times I really have to fight, like to go completely cuckoo and just throw it all out and lock the door behind me, just walk away. And it's not, I don't know, it's yeah, but alas, oh, this coffee is cold now. Ugh. But I actually really feel this. I really sat and thought about, okay, you're really gonna do some mental stuff and just like running around, peeling all your, so many of your layers off and telling people about how you're feeling in public, more or less. And I'm actually fearing it a bit because I'm fearing people's reactions afterwards. I don't know, but I do hope that people know, they know me better now and they know why I'm reacting like this, and then maybe like give me some understanding. Like, and I know that I've been told that I'm a really immense help and I'm a good person and whatnot, but when all that's said and done, overthinking, man, and the life that I've lived so far, I'm a bit past the middle of it now. I'm turning 40 soon, so yeah. I think the main thing for me at the moment, and when I'm done with school and whatnot, and I hopefully have a job, I do really hope that I can find someone to, maybe just to end this loneliness, this sitting alone. And even though I'm going out and whatnot, it's just like I need to stay busy, because if I don't stay busy with something, that little overthinking brain in here, that little overthinking batch of gremlins will suddenly start again, and then I have to like really punch him again to keep him down. And I know as well, to be honest, I'm actually pretty good at saying, okay, I'm having a few beers, but I'm not like preening all over the place and just hammering myself shit-faced, because that's also not a good thing to do. So at least I know that some things I'll say it was coping mechanisms for me in the past, but it's no good. It does more damage than good. So yeah, but I shouldn't say I'm sorry, but I apologize if I went a bit too flaky and too like incoherent here. But again, it's like it's a thing. I thought so much about it since yesterday with the talk with my mum, and I thought, well, I might just as well tell you some of my story and maybe you can understand why my personality is as it is, and I can run around and be goddamn happy and stuff and all. And let's just say, I don't know. It takes a word maybe at times. It takes a sentence. It also takes just me sitting alone, and then all of a sudden I can just goes slowly downhill, and it goes. The think train just starts if I don't stop it. So at times I really have to dig deep in the tool chest, and yeah. But alas, now you more or less know some personal stuff about me, and I'm gonna tell you some more fun stories at some point. But I think this time, this is the worst of me, and I think this is more or less how I'm feeling. So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna end it right here. And I do hope that I don't scare anyone away because of this, because that's actually my worst fear, that I'm scaring people away because being so honest about it as I am. Because I still have some demons that not many know about, but you've seen the main ones and the worst ones of them. The rest I can more or less deal with. So yeah. On that note, this is Scramble signing out. I hope you can get some. I hope you can get some knowledge and why I am like this, and maybe try to give me some tips and tricks to what else I can do, so I got some more tools to do. I know I could see a psychologist again. I've seen one again here a few times, and it actually helped again a bit, but it's still like you still fight demons. You still fight. It's not just like you went to a psychologist and everything's hunky-dory now. No, it ain't. But yeah. And as for the umpth time, this is Ramble signing out. I hope this hasn't scared any one of you away again. And yeah, on that note, catch you later. Bye.